Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where we cover every tech trend that you can think of, whether it be IoT, 5G, blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, legal tech, ed tech, fintech. Why is there a tech at the end of just about every industry now? But I'm also passionate about showing the very human stories behind these successful tech companies, and especially those that adopt a more hybrid approach of using the best of technology and blending it seamlessly alongside the best that humans can offer as well at the same time. And it's that human-centric approach that attracted me to today's guest. And her name is Meredith Bronk, and she's the president and CEO of a company called OST. And OST is an integrated cross-functional business tech firm that's bringing together strategy, insights, digital experiences, connected products, and working alongside clients to actually help them optimize and grow their business with technology. But she also has an inspirational story too. And as always, I don't want to reveal any spoilers too early on in the podcast. So buckle up and hold on tight. And I'll beam your ears all the way to Minneapolis in the US so we can speak with Meredith Bronk. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Meredith. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thanks, Neil. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today and appreciate you having me on. I am Meredith Bronk. I'm CEO and president of OST. We're a global consultancy headquartered in the U.S. that specializes in everything what we call from design to data center.
And I'm glad you said that, because I did do a little bit of research on you guys, and I quickly learned that OST is an integrated cross-functional business technology firm bringing together strategy, insights, digital experiences, connected products. Man, it sounds like you're going to be busy. Data center transformation and enterprise managed services. But just to bring everybody up to speed with the kind of problems that you're solving, can you just give a bit of an overview there, just so we get everyone on the same page?
Yeah, when you list things out like that, it seems kind of overwhelming. But, when I think about it as a consultancy, we're really kind of helping our clients solve two distinct problems where technology is the tool for that solving those. First, our problems, if you will, related to how and where technology runs. Things like security, availability, scalability. So how we think about data center architecture, whether that's in the cloud or on-prem, and generally it's a combination of the two. So we have kind of, as our global clients are thinking about how and where should we run technology, we kind of can help them answer those questions. And the second area really where we're having, and this is our area of largest growth right now, is where enterprises are trying to actually transform their businesses, digital transformation, disruption, kind of whatever label you want to put on it. It requires significant change and fundamentally for healthcare organizations and large enterprises to fundamentally think differently about the future of their business. And so we've taken a human-centric approach to helping clients bring new products to market, thinking differently, how they run, how they're using data, everything like that, without abandoning their legacy and generally very material and currently profitable business model. So really kind of two very different problems, if you will, that are colliding at different paces and in different areas for all of our clients. When I think about one, here's a quick example. Traeger Grills is a grill company based here in the United States, but they've made their grill connected. So you can have an app on your phone or an Alexa integration. Hey, Alexa, what's the temperature in my grill right now? And Alexa will say, 147 degrees. And so voice integration, but they had to solve a problem of how they get their grills they were moving from 80,000 units on a platform up to 400,000 units on a platform. How do you do that? How does a grill company make that transition happen? And we're helping them with so many phases of that journey, where it goes in the cloud, how it's architected for availability, how they think about running their business differently, what kind of data they can get out of it, how that impacts the channel and how they sell supplies. It's massive. And we're stepping into that, particularly with manufacturers and healthcare organizations.
I love how you're leveraging technology to build that better future for businesses. But more than anything, I love that human-centric approach, because I think that's so crucial now.
Yes.
But before we delve too much into the future, I've got to ask, what is the story behind OST? And where did that name come from?
Yeah. OST, short for Open Systems Technologies, and really kind of a reference to our history. We're about 23 years old, and we were really born kind of providing solutions in the data center. I've been with the company, I'll have 22 years in next month. So from a small tech startup in 1997 to where we are today. So the OST, and we've kind of shortened, obviously, Open Systems Technologies down to OST, because how people think about technology has shifted so dramatically in the last 5 or 8 years that it's so much more than just technology. So OST is all about moving from the data center and leveraging our deep data center expertise, but thinking differently in what that means and how companies are using technology. So today, technology is apps and data and user experience and e-commerce and all of the different marketing, right? All the different areas, digital areas that technology now represents. So we've been around a long time and kind of migrated through that journey. My take, Neil, kind of our tagline is changing how the world connects together, and human to human, human to technology, technology to technology. It's all about those connections and how we can help clients and help enterprises totally transform in those connections.
And something else that I love to do on this Daily Tech podcast is, yes, we're talking about the transformational qualities of technology and how it's transforming businesses and entire industries, but also delving into the past of the guest and what's shaped your career. And I believe you've got an inspirational story as a female that rose to the top in a male-dominated industry. So can I ask you share that story and how you grew your company to, I think, over 260 people you're at now?
Yes. I joined, like I said, back in 1998 and kind of grew up in the industry. And it was just about 5 years ago when I became from COO and moved into the president and CEO role that I actually kind of stuck my head up and really focused externally to OST. And it was in that kind of movement for me where I really learned to think differently about what it's like to be a woman CEO of a technology company and what that means. I think of myself as a leader who happens to be a woman. Yeah. And leader first, right, who happens to be a woman. But what I've realized and really kind of come to appreciate over the last few years and having this role is if I represent opportunity, and we need more diversity in our industry, and if I represent opportunity to folks who might pursue something and see me and see I could do that, I could be that, then what a great honor and opportunity that is for me. I remember being in a room with Meg Whitman, who was former CEO. She was the CEO of HP at the time, talking about what it was like for her, obviously very visible woman running a very large global technology company. And, I would say that some things have changed and some things haven't. She commented on, we still, as a woman, we're still looking to overcome some of those initial biases that might still exist, but I say today they exist way differently than they did 10 or 15 years ago. And I'm grateful for that and for other people like Meg Whitman who helped to pave the way for that for me.
What I love about what you're doing here is how you're bringing these creative solutions to clients that leverage technology while also maintaining that strong organisational culture. So can you tell me more about why your vision is passion and empathy is equally as important as the technology, if not more so?
More, yeah, especially from a leadership perspective. This is a topic, Neil, that actually I could probably talk all day about because it's something that I'm so passionate about. And when I think about why we exist as a business and what we have the opportunity to do in changing how the world connects, it's a big ask, right? That's kind of a big goal. But my goal as CEO of OST is to provide an environment for people to thrive so that they can solve and engage fully and wholly in solving the tough problems that we're trying to solve. So we have 5 guiding principles at OST that define kind of how we behave. And I open meetings with our guiding principles. I close meetings with our guiding principles. I talk about we have to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. And one of our guiding principles is to honor our employees and their families first, clients second, and that the business will take care of itself. And you think about that as a principle, foundational principle, to say, how are we in fact creating an environment? Another one is to delight clients. So we have to hire people who want to delight our clients, who are driven to not only meet expectations, but to wildly exceed them. And so how do we teach that? How do we model that? How do we encourage that? It creates a very empowered workforce that at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to maintain, an environment where our team can do their best work, because they have to move fast. They can't be turning around and checking with somebody when a client says, hey, how about we, how do we make some of these things happen? So figuring that out and reinforcing with every decision that we make as a business that those are our priorities, that to me is the ultimate responsibility that I have as CEO, to truly and authentically and non-hypocritically say, this is who we are. We're imperfect, so we don't always get it right. But that's what we do. That's who we are. And it's what I'm committed to ensuring that the environment that our team has, so that they can go do their best work. Because that's what our clients want from us, people who have the ability to do their best work. That to me, that gets me excited. And teaching that when we've grown from, 7 people to, as you mentioned, over 260, it's not an easy thing to do, but really, truly committed to ensuring that we maintain that through all of our growth.
And something else I'm passionate about exploring on this Daily Tech podcast is tech startup stories and tech stories outside of the Bay Area. So can you tell me about the tech startup scene in West Michigan and how women in tech are making a huge impact there? Because these are the kind of stories that we don't hear enough about.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I was just talking to somebody, as I mentioned, I'm in Minneapolis today, but we have an office here as well, and talking to folks about kind of what's different here in the Midwest from a tech scene perspective. And there's a lot of folks here. I think there's deep loyalty and really kind of creative entrepreneurial roots in Michigan, especially West Michigan, where we're based out of. Very strong entrepreneurial roots, still large global organizations built and formed there. So the tech scene there, we've got, incubation and second stage and startup and mature companies like OST, committed to thinking differently, to taking some risks. The public-private partnership that we also have is amazing. So the opportunities that are afforded to us. When I think about women in tech, in particular in Michigan, there's a very open environment to bringing people in and diversifying the voices in technology. And in a place like Michigan, West Michigan in particular, it's much more accessible, I think, than sometimes in the Bay Area, where it's like, how do you know who you know, and how you quick turn in for angel investors, and the competition is significant. And here we're committed to each other's successes, and you have access to folks who want to try things. So it's a really interesting and remarkable opportunity. Some of the largest organizations right now are run by women. Andy Owen, who's the CEO of Herman Miller, is doing some amazing things from a pure kind of approach and that business model transformation that I was talking about earlier, thinking differently about how she's running her business. So it's exciting.
And I always say at the end of every podcast that technology works best when it actually brings people together. And that alone is one of the reasons I was so excited to get you on the show today. So, because sure, technology helps the world connect, machine to machine, human to machine, human to human. But can you tell me more about why you're committed to helping your customers and their customers make those connections?
Yeah. I think technology can be used to make the world a better place. And it can also be used, for bad effects. But the technology can be used to make the world a better place. And when we see the opportunities and the ideas and the vision that people have, that our clients have, our ability to help them bring that to light is exciting. It's really exciting. Everything from, I think about like the Mall of America, and at the Mall of America, they have a big, like an indoor, like roller coasters and adventure park in the center of the mall. And they wanted to change the experience of their riders and how they get wristbands and how many tokens it takes and kind of how they get on and off the rides at the Mall of America. And we had a chance to do that with them. So it's a better experience for people who are coming to the mall. It's better for young people, for families. You know what I mean? Kind of rather than a one size fits all, that we really had the opportunity to integrate and think differently about how they were interacting so that they have a great experience when they're there at the Mall of America. And on the other end of the spectrum, we worked with a healthcare client to put in VDI, which is a technology solution, and all about the doctors and how they can be as efficient and effective as possible when they're in front of patients. And the IS organization realized that adoption was going to risk the success of the project, not the technology itself. The technology was fantastic. So we had the opportunity to not only help with adoption, we branded the whole experience, new desktop experience that they created. It had a new brand. We did some marketing. We created stickers. We worked to adopt the technology because you want so bad for the technology to be used and to actually, again, make that world better, make that experience better so that the physicians could focus on providing great patient care. How are we thinking differently about that? And that to me is the great power of technology. It's the great opportunity that we have in employing a ton of technologists, that they have that vision, or our clients have the vision, and we help them bring it to reality.
And just listening to you there, Meredith, you set off my tech spidey sensors because, one, you've got a great voice for podcasts. Two, you've obviously got a really good microphone because you sound crystal clear. So good. I say to me, I thought she must have her own podcast, and I believe you do. So can you tell me more about that podcast? And what was the inspiration behind your podcast too?
We do. We launched, our podcast is called 10,000 Feet. And in our logo, we have a little paper airplane, and we have had that for years in our logo. And so we launched our podcast is called 10,000 Feet, really as an opportunity to, if you think about when you're in an airplane, kind of what happens at 10,000 feet, the Wi-Fi comes on, you're close enough to the ground that you can still see some houses or, kind of still make out some shapes. But you're in the clouds and above the clouds and kind of starting to see through that. So 10,000 feet for us is about thinking about technology from that perspective, close enough to kind of what has to happen, but also thinking from a vision and an upward perspective as well. Real experiences with clients, partners, industries, kind of how people are navigating the path from the ground to 30 to cruising altitude to 34,000. Really just taking a look kind of along that journey. So that's been really fun.
Oh man, you've sold it to me. I'm hitting the subscribe button as we speak. So what's next for OST then? Is there anything else you can share with us today, or any teasers that you could possibly leave us with?
Yeah, when I think about the success that we're having kind of in the Midwest and the problems that we're solving, not exclusive to our region. So we're looking at expansion. And when you get to a certain size, maybe acquisitions and just kind of continued evolution of how we do what we do, focusing in healthcare and large organizations. So not world dominance, but definitely really going after a nationwide footprint to take advantage of the skills and capabilities that we've built here. So more to come.
Excellent. And we've covered a lot of ground today, so I'm conscious for people that want to check out 10,000 Feet podcast or find OST online or contact your team if they've got any questions, could you just point them in the direction to get all the help that they need and any information they want?
You bet. Our website is ostusa.com. You can navigate through that, find our podcasts, some blogs, some other information, learn a little bit about our culture. Again, my favorite topic, and check us out.
Well, like I said earlier on in the podcast, I always say at the end of every episode that technology works best when it brings people together. And reading how you're changing the way the world connects, but with a human-centric approach and technology, blows me away. It's everything that I subscribe to. And you also mentioned about making the world a better place too, which is something I think we both subscribe to. So thanks so much for coming on, taking the time and sharing your story with me today, Meredith.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Neil. Take care.
Changing the way the world connects. Now, regular listeners will know that I love that human-centric approach to technology. And I must also thank her for coming on here and sharing her experience as a female at the very top in a male-dominated industry, as well as how her journey took her from creating a company from building the company to over 260 people. Bridging the distance between insights, tech and strategy in smart and meaningful ways that actually yield transformative results. Man, that's my kind of language. But as always, this show is not just about me. It's not just about the guest either. We've given you all the information and shared the stories. Now I pass the virtual microphone over to you. If you have any additional questions whatsoever, whether it be about today's interview, maybe you just want to offer your insights or a different point of view, even if you just want to say hello or come on the show, whatever it is, my door is open to every single person that listens to this podcast. And you can email me directly at techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, just look for @NeilC.Hughes. I'm the easiest guy in the world to find. And finally, before I go, I am going to Dynatrace Perform in Las Vegas in about a week's time. So if anybody's going to that event and you'd like to join me for a hot coffee or a cold beer, whatever it is, give me a shout and I'll meet you. Because like I say, tech works best when it brings people together. So if I can meet one of my listeners on my travels, it kind of proves that. But enough of my rambles. I've taken up far too much of your time already. Not only today, but this week. So come and join me, same time, same place tomorrow for another episode. But I'm signing off now. So thanks for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.